Hey everyone, I'm Lamont Gilchrist, www.lgfitnessmessiah.com is my web site. Lamont Gilchrist, natural pro bodybuilder on YouTube. Check out some of those videos. I got training videos of different styles, run, athletic training, cross training, all those other different types of training stuff. This is the day before Thanksgiving. Back on my page a couple of days ago, I posted a how to eat Thanksgiving and be rational and reasonable and to stay halfway in tune with your eating regimen. I had a couple of different issues I was going to discuss today. I guess I'll start off with the first one. Someone asked me a question about genetics, bone size, all the other stuff. I usually put up a chart, and if you haven't seen it, I'll put it back up on my Facebook. It shows the different bone structures from ecto to endo to meso. Meso being the middle one, usually is the one that's associated with athleticism, rounded muscle bellies, full muscle bellies, long muscle bellies, a whole bunch of different other things like that. Endo is usually more burly, more big, big bone. I'm going to show you a quick test real quick. Kind of give yourself an indication. If you could take right in front of your wrist, your radius, and your ulnus bone, if you could take this finger, middle finger, and your thumb, and touch them around to each other, then you're definitely not endo. You may be meso and more ecto, depending on how much more or how loose it is or how easy you're able to do that. The reason why I say and put that up there, because being different muscle types, being different genetic makeups, being different, like I said before, I read a book on blood types and how they affect, grains or carbohydrates or different things that go to the body. People who are lactose intolerant, all these different things affect as an athlete and just as a person who's dieting, your body dynamics and the chemical reactions that are going on in your body. So it's good to know those things. It's good to know thyself. It's good to know as much as you can about yourself and what's your plan of attack. And I remember what else I was going to talk about. And someone asked me a question about bodybuilding. Outside of natural bodybuilding, I'm just going to be honest with you. Bodybuilding is usually about drugs. And if you have great or good genetics and you have great drug supply, growth hormones and stuff like that, coke, whatever it is you use to cut, meth, Lasix to get dry. That's how bodybuilders, fitness, IFBB, NPC, and other athletes maintain or do their body. Then they get ready for photo shoots. They Photoshop their pictures. And then when they're in off season, they don't look that good. They look like really big or look like regular people, or you wouldn't even notice them. You'll walk right by them, or you'll see somebody that's really huge but not defined or cut or anything else like that. So don't get it twisted. A lot of young people always be like, oh, I want to bodybuild, I want to do this and stuff like that. Yeah, outside of natural bodybuilding, it's an economics and a genetics game. If you got genetics, you got good genetics. Everyone always tell me, I got great genetics thanks to my mom and my dad and my bloodline. My kids have great genetics. I'm an athlete. Athletes win out on majority of the things. I'm not trying to knock anybody, but 1960 players can't play. Not all of them can play this in this time. And if you look at the progression of athletics on a professional level, people with better genetic DNA, more stronger people, rule the games that are on that. Football, basketball, soccer, long long distance running, marathon running. Who wins the marathon? Who wins the hundreds? Who wins the, so you have to understand where climate, where you come from. There's a lot of different factors that affect being a productive bodybuilder or being a productive athlete. The number one thing that I don't knock and I give a lot of credit to is strategic discipline and intestinal fortitude. Now, I've seen people with not as good genetics or not quite meant to be somewhere go outside themselves. So you're never limited in a box. But I'm just telling you what the norm is, what you're up against, So, you young people who think you want to be fitness models or fitness chicks and bikini, you could probably get away with almost being natural, because it's a softer look when you're doing bikini contests. But once you start to get into physique and you get into bodybuilding, men and women, and all the other things part of this industry, if you're not natural, and even a lot of people who say they're natural really aren't natural. If you're not natural, you're going to have to invest, and it's about drugs and genetics. I mean, it's just the simple facts of it. On professional athletics, as far as football and stuff like that, it's about genetics, and some of it's about drugs. I mean, to be honest with you, in baseball, as you've seen, it's about genetics, it's about drugs. I mean, if you start to look down the line of a lot of these different sports, it's about genetics and drugs. Lance Armstrong, I mean, we could go all through the Olympics. That's why they have such a strenuous drug testing policy. So don't be tricked. Don't be bamboozled by people who say they look good and doing this stuff. I am lifetime natural, meaning I have never shot a steroid into my body or growth hormone. None of that, other than in college where I had cortisone, which is a healing one, which the doctor will do for you. I have never done that just because I haven't done it. I am ultimately blessed with genetics, and I have a intestinal fortitude that's second to none. I have a heart of a lion. I know who I am. I go hard regardless. You know what I'm saying? But everyone is not built like that. So let's just be realistic when we're looking at these pictures and looking at these goals and looking at what people are doing. A lot of these people, some of these trainers are doing it too, taking drugs and stuff, so that they can present. Online coaches are taking drugs and saying that they're natural and all this other stuff. I mean, the proof is in the pudding, man. People can say what they want to say with their mouth, you know what I'm saying? But that's not really always the case to be. And I'm not knocking nobody, but I just like people to have a realistic expectation and know what real gains and really getting in shape really partakes and what it really takes to be an elite level athlete. I seen a guy on a thing. Now people follow him on YouTube, and he was talking about, well, you can't gain more muscle after 30 unless you're on drugs. They're talking about Michael Heron, which Michael Heron takes steroids. Most of everybody in the industry knowing. He's a great bodybuilder. He's been ambassador, Mr. USA, and all this other stuff. But he was knocking Michael Heron, and that's not true. I mean, you can make gains after 30 and 40 and stuff and be lifting. So I'm almost 30 years in the game. Next year I'll be 30 years in the game of lifting weights, and I'm still transforming my body. No drugs, lifetime natural, if you know the science and if you put in the work. People say you can't do things because they can't do it, because they don't have the genetics, because their mind can't perceive it, because they don't have the discipline, because they don't have the drive. So don't have anyone tell you what you can and what you can't do, and what you can't do. But be realistic with yourself when you know the odds that you're going up against. I competed in NPC shows. I won Mr. Nebraska NPC. I won Kansas City NPC. I won Rod Kitchen NPCs, 2 shows. So all those shows, I won 10 NPC shows where there's no drug testing. And that's where I started off bodybuilding, in the NPC. You know why I started off bodybuilding in the NPC? Because in the Natural Bodybuilding Federation, they looked at me like I was crazy, because they're like, you can't have this much muscle and be natural. Because they can't do it, because they're not genetically gifted, because their creator didn't endow them with the abilities and with the structure and all the other things that I've been blessed with. And then, because I just wanted the competition, I was competing in the NPC against people who were taking steroids and winning shows, winning overall, winning best poser. Every show I was doing in the NPC, I was mopping up. You know, I was a national qualifier. I probably could have got my I probably could have got my IFBB pro card naturally, which is unheard of. And then I went over and got my natural pro card, my WNBF natural bodybuilding pro card, and competed over there. And people used to be like, "Man, this dude is freaky, man." And I took polygraphs and told them I'm lifetime natural, pass polygraphs, drug testing, and stuff. But I know, and my family know, and anyone who knows me know that, you know, this is the standards. I put myself in a whole different other category with the standards and the drive that I use to push myself. I say this to inspire people so that you don't get discouraged. You can't compete against these guys that are unnatural if you want to go into NPC, you want to do physique. So you don't have to sell your soul. Because once you start down that game, then it becomes who got the best drugs. It becomes, are you getting the drugs that they say you're getting? That organization or that drug ring is not licensed, or if you're not having a doctor do it professionally, you know, they could be putting rat urine in a syringe or anything else like that. So you get a whole bunch of different situations outside of the health risk, and it's going to tear your body up for sure. So, you know, I've heard it on both ends. I heard people talk about, oh, you can't do these things naturally. That's bullshit. You can't. And if you started later in life lifting, you can make bigger gains because now your body's being shot. So you can look forward to that. You can get stronger. You can put on more muscle a lot quicker. There's no age. Science has proven that people are gaining muscle at 80 when they work out. So, you know, these guys going out here putting out these videos about you can't get bigger and stuff as you get older. They're quacks, man. And they can't get bigger as they gotten older because they're bitches. I mean, I don't really talk like that, but yeah, you know, they don't put in the work, and so they'll down other people and they'll criticize other people because they can't put in the work and they don't have the heart. You know, it's not about the fact that they don't got the muscle to do it, because anybody got the muscle. I don't see people in wheelchairs get in shape. It's the big muscle that count. If you ain't got the heart, you ain't gonna be able to do nothing. And that goes for all these guys. You know, that stuff makes me frustrated when I see people putting out quackery and talking about what you can and what you can't do. You're not really getting a realistic perspective about what it takes, you know what I'm saying, to really be in this game, to really maintain your weight, to really push and chase after your dreams. I don't want anyone to be frustrated. I just want anyone and all my athletes or anyone that I work with to have a realistic picture of the dedication or hard work and what you're going up against. If you're okay being natural, going up against guys that are unnatural, because even in the Natural Federation, when I was out in Musclemania, guy was talking about putting urine into their bladder so that they could pass it, and they had big distilled guts. I know it was unnatural guys there, but I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. I figure I consider myself to be as David, man. I like to slay dragons. I got a package, and I know when I bring my package, I can stand next to anybody on the planet, and I really do feel that way. So I'm not really tripping about that. So be assured and understand there's a lot of levels to this and a lot of prices to pay. So I'm talking to regular people if you're watching this video, because if you see the dynamics and how hard it is for professional people who make a living, fitness models, all this other stuff, and the things that they got to do and how they got to sell their soul to do these particular things, working a 9 to 5 and not watching your eating and not being disciplined and not being on point, you really don't have a shot unless you have outstanding genetics to really get into them people type of shape. That's not realistic. So set realistic goals and be realistic with yourself. I hope this video helped about being ecto, endo, meso, your body style, training for your body style. I got, you know, training programs that's for ecto, endos. I'll post and I'll put back up that picture of that chart, and it says how you should eat, what you should do, how you should do cardio. And I agree with that. You know, on the science on that, I agree with that chart pretty much, because I've seen people, and I've trained thousands of people and have thousands of people go on my program or follow me throughout the years and say they've gotten results and correspond with thousands of people. So I truly do agree with those charts and stuff like that, as far as knowing your body style and type and everything else like that. You know, from how long your arms are, or you got stubby, or how big is your waist and how should you turn. You know, man, I won best poser almost at every show that I've done, because I know how to manipulate and turn my body and present my body. You got to learn how to hide your weaknesses. You got to learn if your torso is too long, your shoulders aren't wide enough, hip. You know, it's an illusion. And so is most of these people pictures and most of these people Facebook posts and stuff like that because they blotting out and adding things. You know, if they took off all that BS and filtered all that stuff, they wouldn't look anywhere close to what they really look like. So be true to yourself. I hope this helped. Thanks.